What's going on, good people?
Hey, y'all.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Shit
And drinking coffee.
It's your boy, Walt P.
And it's your girl, Kels.
And on this wonderful day, we're going to talk about three subjects that we feel are very important that's going on in your local community, in your community, period. Whether you're here, you're there, you're everywhere.
Right. In the United States in general.
On the world. All right.
Yeah, so we're going to hit the early voting. Of course, that started a lot of places this week. Yesterday specifically, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get in on some vaccine talk and a little bit on the Sayah Deal situation that I'm sure everybody has seen on their social media by this point.
Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you can be the first to watch our newest videos.
Yes, subscribe.
So without further ado, we're going to get into the first clip. Enjoy.
Back here at home, amid concern over voting during a pandemic, early voting is now underway across much of this country. And in Georgia, this is the first day. ABC's Steve Osensami with what they're seeing already.
This is one of the shorter lines. Voters in the heart of Atlanta waited for more than 4 and 5 hours before they could vote today. Hours away in Columbus, the line started before the sun came up.
So I got up about 5:15 this morning, got me a cup of coffee, came out here. The line was progressively getting longer.
Voting is now taking place in 45 states and the nation's capital. In Georgia, where in-person early voting started today, election officials expect it to stay this busy for the next 3 weeks. Nearly everyone we spoke with in line said they did not trust sending their vote in the mail.
You didn't want to vote by mail?
No.
You want your vote? You want
counted. Yes. Or I want to see it. Say submitted.
You want
and
to
they
see
got
it.
it.
In Georgia, more than 1.5 million voters have asked for absentee ballots so far, and more than 400,000 of them have been filled out and returned already. In Florida, they started counting those mail-in ballots today. A new ABC News Washington Post poll says that half of all voters plan to vote early. Here in Buckhead, Atlanta, this polling location is now closed, but the line behind me is still nearly an hour long, and all of these voters will be getting through tonight. David?
Just extraordinary with 3 weeks left to go. Voting already underway across this country, Steve. Thank you. And with so much concern about voting this year amid this pandemic and the news on mail-in and absentee ballots, our partners at 538 have put together an easy-to-use state-by-state guide to answer your questions on voting both in person and by mail. You can go to abcnews.com/WNT Vote 2020.
I might vote this time.
I'm not going to tell anyone who I'm voting for because I got good ass sense. Good sense.
Yeah, they motherfuckers almost.
They be out here chanting and cheering
I'm
for the
telling you,
hoes.
it's like they
I don't
almost
do
shooting you
that.
for it. So,
Look.
as you guys watch the early voting, you know, it's kind of chaotic right now. You know.
Yeah. So Georgia specifically.
Yeah.
They have had certain places where people waited up to 12 hours to vote today. Yesterday.
That's ridiculous.
I had a personal friend on my timeline that took her daughter to vote because she's 18, so this is her first time voting, so they went together. They said in the neighborhood where they voted today, they waited 2 hours, which was pretty good.
Yeah, it ain't too
to
bad.
my understanding.
Ain't too bad.
From the way it was going, that was good. Anyway, they got there, and the reason it took 2 hours is because all the computers were down. There was one computer. And for everyone to vote for.
And I'm pretty sure they anticipate that part along every election, you know, no matter it's for the president or it's for, you know, you kind of can't control that, honestly.
I mean, my question though, if this is like so important, why is the equipment not better?
Well, think about this. Even when, and it could be an issue of software. It might not even be the hardware.
Well, and then I was going to say maybe at the location too, because it could have just been that location. But I've noticed that's been a trend, not even just with the presidential election. So there were a few local elections leading up where there were a lot of computer failures. People had to go in and they were complaining about voter suppression. Some polls had to stay open later than they said because their computer equipment had them down for hours throughout the day when they were supposed to be open. So that's why I guess I say the equipment, because it seems to be becoming more and more commonplace as we get closer to the president.
It's a trend going. It's a trend.
It's a trend, and I'm like, why is it doing it now?
Right. I want to get into a little bit of what people's vote actually means. You know, is it important? Is it not
As
important? I'm coming to understand it a little bit more, just like, you know, doing the research on what the Electoral College is. You know, and what I've learned is each state has a certain amount of votes that they get. If you guys are not familiar with the Electoral College, we're gonna try to break it down for you guys to the best of our
ability, and within time.
Yeah, because
you know, we can't teach you everything.
Like I said, I don't understand it fully. I'm you know, this year has been an eye opener for a lot of things, political, the presidency, you know, what the Senate is, what the Congress is. Even though we learn that shit, you know, coming up in school, I'm not afraid to admit that, you know, there's some things I really don't understand about this shit and how it works.
When you're in high school, it's not that interesting.
No,
you learn about it when you can't vote.
You learn the material to pass the test.
Well, and you learn the material before your voting age. So you're not
you don't really give
super enthused. You can't even go vote and you're learning about it. Then you don't really hear of it again unless you're like a political science major or maybe a history, economics, something to deal with that. You might hear of it again, but like if you major in business, for instance, I don't remember anybody breaking down electoral college to me again.
Right. Like I've never heard anybody just come right out. You know what the electoral college is? Blah 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 blah. Never. So I'm gonna attempt to. We're gonna attempt to try. So since 1964, there's been 538 electors. The reason why it exists, where it exists.
Who they are.
Okay. The 538 electors of the Electoral College is you got 438 that are the Congress. Those are your representatives for Congress. Then you got the other 100 that make up from the Senate, and then there's three.
The remaining 3.
435 is the Congress
and Senate.
100 Senate, and then 3 of the electors from the District of Columbia, which is DC.
Which is DC, yeah. It's not considered a state, but it's, you know, it gets counted a lot.
So since 1964, and it breaks it down in Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution of the United States.
Hit 'em out.
And each state is entitled to have a vote.
Right.
And so basically what we always heard is, you know, the Electoral College, you know, is the deciding factor, and that's true. But then it's a little bit.
It's a mixture of the people and the Electoral College. So when people say your vote matters, it does somewhat. And when people say your electors only matter, they do somewhat.
Because it matters,
but it's a combination.
What your state, like, we're from Georgia, right?
Correct.
Notoriously, we are a Republican state.
So what that means for me and Walt, if we go vote and we vote non-Republican, then in that particular instance, our vote didn't count per se, because the remainder of the people in our state are going to outweigh our vote, and in turn our state will again be Republican, and they are going to get all of our electoral votes.
Right.
And Georgia's not considered a swing state, so unless something weird happens, like the aliens come and pick up the Republicans, we gonna be Republican.
and basically during the presidential election, you got the Democrats and Republican. They're both fighting for more than half,
and they're fighting
of those electoral
they're
votes.
Fighting for more than half. But you brought up earlier certain combinations of the correct states. You can get very few states and still win the election.
Right.
You can also win the popular vote and not win the election due to this thing with the Electoral College.
To give you guys a scenario, a presidential candidate could lose 39 states
and if they got the other remaining 12?
12, and it said it broke down specifically 11 states that could be a deciding factor, but I think it's 12. I think that's what that or Virginia comes from.
And if you get all of the top states with the most electoral
Right.
votes, then yeah, you have to get very few.
Yeah.
California, for instance, has 55 already. So you're headed towards that 270 something number that they try to achieve.
Yeah.
Getting California is a good chunk of that. You're about a quarter of the way or whatever there. So then you also have to consider, if you're in a swing state, who is on your Senate, who's on your Congress. If you chose Senate and Congress and you chose Republican, and then you decide in the major election for president you want to vote Democrat, well, you may have hindered yourself, because if the state vote gets very, very close, your electors will, in that case, get to kind of break the tie.
That's where they come in and say, okay, here's who you're. Just like, I think that's what happened with Hillary, right?
I don't think it happened where the electors swapped, but she lost in some critical swing states.
Right. But she won the popular vote, and that's where everybody was like, "Oh, you cheated," but it wasn't that simple.
If it were just popular vote, then yes. Yeah. But since it's based off this weird kind of math that nobody really, and I'm gonna say nobody really fully understands, because a lot of people don't care to go out of their way
nobody
to
gives
understand
a shit. Like I said,
until this point in the year.
I don't think I cared until this is the topic.
Yeah.
And,
like, this your first time getting the vote, so you're like digging into everything.
Well, first time probably
wanting to kind of
maybe like and it's not even me. I'm not a pressure guy, but it's like, what if mine does count? And I don't want to go around telling people that it doesn't matter if you vote, but I want to say that wherever your state is, if you feel like that candidate is the best for, and I like how you put represents my best interest as an American. I like how you put that, because that's what it should be based on, not whether you're a lifelong Democrat,
not
or
party. Correct.
Yeah, it shouldn't fucking matter. It shouldn't matter. Let me look into this guy's policies, what he plans on doing for the next 4 years, and because we haven't really.
We get so hyped up in trends.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
If you want, because what I say before we started, I said I actually take the candidates and I decide what my most important issues are. Then I see which candidate is in line with my like top 5 issues or top 2 issues, and go from there. Just like right now, race is a big point. Well, if that is your main point, I don't know where you stand, but neither one of these 2 main candidates that we have to choose from, because there are more than 2, there are 4, but the 2 main candidates, neither has impressed me with that. But
let me put this out there too, Kels, because I think we get a little bit too caught up with it. Having a president is absolutely important. Just as important as if you have a business or a corporation, you need
a good strong CEO.
You need a figurehead. You need a good face of the company, right?
Somebody
That's
to
what
lead.
the president is. But in case you guys,
all the employees.
Yeah, in case you guys don't know, the president don't make no fucking laws.
Yeah, the Congress and Senate. If you wanted to look at business, and like you said, if the president is the CEO, and a lot of y'all probably done had jobs, y'all know, I don't know what the CEO really does. Nobody really knows. But the workers underneath the CEO usually are who's more important, your directors, your managers, your VPs. So that's what Senate and Congress would kind of be. They would be like your high-level management staff.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this out there to the people. I want to change
that even
the motherfucking dynamic.
Yeah.
And let's start going hard
for Congress.
When Congress seats come up, let's put this same energy into those
Senate too.
Elections like we do the presidency, because
those are important.
I'm gonna tell you, I guarantee shit'll fucking change.
Well, and like I said, and if you're in a swing state especially, and your people sitting in your elector seats don't align with you, but then something happens and everything's even, that's what's going to break your tie. It's not going to matter who the president was. It's going to matter who your electors were.
Always remember, just like local politics, when they put it out, I know you guys watch TV shows. If you don't know anything about politics and the election process, you watch TV enough to where you hear them come out their mouth, we got to go to these old people home because they vote. It's the same thing. These motherfuckers. But right now, I think they so they so tough behind the illusion that people don't really give a shit, because you don't really see these motherfuckers campaigning like you do see the presidency, like you do see your local mayor's office.
Right, they kind of slide under the radar.
They kind of slide on the radar, for you know it. This motherfucker, he's reelected.
In his seat, and the senators in Congress hold their seat longer than president.
Yep.
Also, you want to be cognizant of who you're choosing for these seats, because like you said, they make a lot of decisions and we don't know. Have you ever seen in your state the two people running for Senate do a debate? Hell no.
Never.
Why?
Never.
Why they ain't on local news debating?
You might see a commercial every now and then.
David Perdue is the man. I've seen it 90,000 times.
John Ossoff. I'm so tired of
John
seeing this
Ossoff and David Perdue done got on my nerves.
Man, when I say, but you know what though?
But I should be.
I'm gonna vote for one of these people,
and it's gonna be important.
I think it fucking matters. And on this show, we're going to fucking get into it on what this shit means to either get these motherfuckers in here or get these motherfuckers out of here, because we need new blood.
We do. That's been one of my things I keep saying too. I say all the time, I'm tired of 70-year-old white men. No shade to 70-year-old white men watching, but y'all don't need to be president no more. I'm tired. You do not represent the vast majority of the population. The vast majority of the population is what?
I like how you said
25 to 45.
No shade to 70-year-old white men.
No shade.
Watch.
Y'all are cute little grandpas or whatever.
The whole maybe
the
four or five
two.
of them that we're even gonna get
the
to
whole
watch.
two.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, if they are, no shade.
Yeah.
You don't represent the breakdown of America by population anymore.
Right.
Most of the population's 25 to like 45 or 50.
Yeah.
You're not in there.
You ain't in the mix.
You ain't aligning up, and you can't be president if you're under 35. So you take them little 35 to 25 to 35 and boot them on out of there.
I think Obama was the youngest in history.
Kennedy was right behind him.
Okay, Kennedy, yeah.
He was like, Kennedy. I think Obama beat him out for youngest by like a couple years.
Yeah.
And even the ones before that, though, Bush, when he went in office, I'm talking about little Bush, not big Bush.
Junior.
Yeah.
GW.
He wasn't old like that. He wasn't 70.
No,
he wasn't 70.
He was kind of young.
He was goofy,
but
he
was
wasn't
very
70.
goofy. Remember, he used to walk across the stage
looking goofy as hell.
I always heard that. What was that he said? You fool me once.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. You fool me twice.
I won't be a fool again.
I'm like, that ain't it, GW. You fucked that all up. But it was funny. It was very funny to watch. And me personally, I liked GW.
I think too.
I think
I'm sorry. He wasn't the best speaker.
No, he wasn't the best speaker, but he performed well when in a time this country really needed it. I was
and honestly, even I like to see the fact that him and the Obamas have a good relationship. Right now, we get a lot of just hate from the two candidates.
And the narrative that the population likes to paint for them, like, oh, they hate each other. You don't know these motherfuckers go tee off every day at 12 at some undisclosed location.
Did you see that?
Now them motherfuckers, I don't know if they get along. And
they do not get along.
I know your boy, he couldn't stand him before he died either. McCain. Yeah. He really didn't like Trump.
I mean, honestly, Trump and Biden, like, you feel the tension. You can tell they do not like each other. Yeah. Even Pence and Kamala Harris, they don't see eye to eye on a lot.
But they don't hate each other.
They were pleasant. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we've seen the Obamas and the Bushes at many games and events, and they're sitting beside each other like tiki-kiing. So, I mean, it wasn't as. This is the most divisive I've ever seen the two parties. I would say most divided they've ever been. I've never seen it be this bad.
But you know what? I want to say it's on purpose. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
had a couple of conspiracy theories.
I mean, if I see something or hear something 20 times, Kelsey, I always heard walk like a duck, talk like a duck. Probably a fucking duck. So I do believe there's a lot of underhanded bullshit going on, but make sure you guys, if you, like we said, if it's in your best interest, you feel like these guys have your best interest at heart, their policies match up with
yours, then pick that person.
Pick that person.
And I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I said, you might not know what your major policy, what is important to you. Have you even thought about your top 5 most
question,
important
Kels.
policies.
Do
you know what's most important to you? Is it just the race
What do you
thing?
give a fuck about?
Or what else do you care about? Because you can have the most racially sensitive motherfucker around, and what if they raise taxes to 50%?
Oof.
You are going to be broke, and I'm going to be very mad with you. I don't want to pay that much in taxes. I don't.
Oof.
Exactly. So
I mean, that's a good point.
Race is on my list of important things. It isn't number 1 though, because again, I know I have 2 70-year-old white men, and honestly, they probably feel the same way about black people.
Oh yeah. But I like I like that you brought that up about, well, one motherfucker might be with raising taxes, the other one is, fighting with Congress, slugging it out with them, trying to get it down.
Yeah, he may not be for black people, but he may be more for the American middle class as a whole or something.
We can speak to that now. Who been doing that for the last 4 years, trying to get the taxes down?
Trump has got taxes.
Now,
I even said in our last segment, and Bone called me out too. He was like, you even said everybody. And I said, I did say it because it's true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie on the man. I don't like when people do that.
Yeah.
He did make taxes go down for everyone, not just the 1%.
Right. And we're not trying to sway you guys. Well, that ain't what we doing on this show.
It's just you have to just let one topic go so hard and you forget your other important things.
Yes.
Because it's more than one thing.
Because
and if race is so important to you, then we had 2 debates. Listen to what they both said about race. I mean, Trump didn't say anything great, but Joe Biden didn't say anything spectacular either. He didn't say he was going to do anything. He just kind of wasn't the shithole that time.
Yeah.
he
didn't
say a lot, but he also made sure not to say a lot on purpose, I'm sure.
Yeah, and when politicians, they still do a great job on not addressing certain things, or they'll deflect.
If I see you talking your way into the hole,
yeah,
I'ma just shut up. Well, and that's exactly what he did.
A great one that asked him, well, what do you plan to do about, let's say, Syria or something? They tell you like a watermelon story or some shit like that.
They
just
did
to get
that
the fuck, just to get off that. Well,
or to talk about something that they want to bring up more.
Yeah, they gonna deflect.
Like, well, Syria is awful, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for taxes.
Boom. That shit bad, but this what I'm gonna do. Like,
and then at the end, they'll try to circle it back around and make it connect.
Yeah,
but no.
But like we
see
said,
you.
Get out there and vote if you feel like that's in your best interest.
Right. And definitely if maybe it's in your best interest because if you're in a state like me that's Republican, and I know that going in, it may be more important for me just the historic aspect of it or the fact that women and black people didn't have the right to vote. Because a lot of times we bring up black people, but we forget about women being a minority group and not having the right to vote for a very long time too. So I'm going to go out and vote for that. I know my candidate is probably not going to be the candidate because I'm probably not voting. I'm probably voting for one of these other people that y'all don't even know. Honestly, when I write my little check sheet down and see my issues, because that's what I do.
Oh, and just to put out a PSA, we don't know if this information is absolutely true or not, but we did get privy to some information about what's going on with the voting. If you do go to the polls, pay attention when you're voting. It is saying that that the ballots, basically,
can't be written on.
Yeah, if they're wrote on, then
you need to request a new.
Ask for another ballot.
I'm glad you touched on that too, because there's something else that I want to bring up. And again, I don't live in California. I don't know how true it is. I heard in a lot of the bigger states with more electoral votes, the Republican Party is allegedly. And somebody posted that they admitted to this. I got to look it up. I haven't looked it up yet, so I'm going to say allegedly like the police do. Allegedly. They have allegedly put boxes out for you to drop your ballot in that are not authorized boxes. So if you're voting from home and you're doing the drop my ballot off thing, get online and make sure you're dropping your ballot off at the right location. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look this shit up. Just do your due diligence. Yeah. This election has been heated. We've seen people allude to the fact that Trump has even kind of hinted that he might not go down easily and that there's going to be a lot of things with the votes that may be fraudulent because of coronavirus. So just take it to the courthouse if that's where it's supposed to go. Hell. Yeah. Do that. Don't be talking about, well, they had mine in one of the fake boxes.
We try to tell you.
We tried to tell you.
Yeah.
Or they wrote on mine. Well, too late now.
Well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. We
Go
got
vote.
all the way to November 3rd.
Yeah, well, yeah. You still got to make your mind up, and you know of course they gonna do more talking, and you know you'll get to decide.
They canceled that second debate that was supposed to be tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow.
15th.
Okay, that's this week. It would have been this week.
Or was it the 12th?
I think it would have been the 15th. You're right. So that would have been
that's 2 days
Thursday.
And they canceled it.
Yeah, well, Trump didn't want to do virtual.
Oh, shit.
I don't understand, but whatever.
Well, we're gonna get into the second video. You guys check it out for yourselves.
We begin this hour with the latest on the race for a vaccine for COVID-19 and a bump in the road for a major clinical trial that Ottawa hopes will eventually provide tens of millions of doses for Canadians. Johnson & Johnson has had to put its crucial late-stage testing in humans on hold, at least for now. Laura McQuillan leads off this hour. She has all the details. Laura, good morning.
Good morning, Heather. The company's not saying what kind of an unexplained illness this trial participant has. They're citing privacy as to why they can't do that, but they did issue a statement last night. They wanted to assuage people that phase 3 trials are meant to catch any kind of side effects such as this, as well as proving that the vaccine works. So take a look at what Johnson & Johnson is saying in this statement. They say that serious adverse events are not uncommon in clinical trials, and the number of them can reasonably be expected to increase in trials involving large numbers of participants, of which there are set to be 60,000 in this trial. They go on to say that further, as many trials are placebo-controlled, it's not always immediately apparent whether a participant received a study treatment or a placebo. Important point here, they're not saying at this point whether this volunteer in the trial had their vaccine or if they had a placebo, so they don't know that bit as yet. Hitting pause for now, and it's unclear how long that will be for, but Johnson & Johnson says this is all going to be looked at by an independent review board. It monitors the data, the safety of all of this, as well as internal clinicians who'll be taking a close look at what's gone on, what kind of illness this is, and how that might relate to the vaccine in any way. Worth noting as well that this is one of 10 vaccines already in phase 3. Johnson & Johnson only began its phase 3 trial last month, and it is a little bit behind some of those other drug makers, but this is a big trial. They were on track to get this out the door end of this year or early next year, Heather, so we'll have to wait and see what this kind of disruption might mean with them now putting it on pause.
And with that independent review, Laura, underway, which is exactly how it was handled in another company's late-stage trial.
That's right, AstraZeneca. We were telling you about this last month. That trial, also known as the Oxford University trial, it's actually been paused twice because 2 participants have fallen ill in July and September. And that first instance, it was found that that participant didn't have an illness related to the vaccine. The second isn't entirely clear at this point, but it has been able to resume that trial everywhere that it was carrying it out, except for the US, where some more approvals are needed. Now, a lot of people will be wondering, okay, what does this mean for a vaccine? Is it going to be safe? And that's a point that infectious disease experts are speaking a lot about in the past 12 or so hours since this news came out. They are pointing out that this is what the phase 3 trial is meant to do. It's meant to find any issues before the vaccine gets to market. And when we spoke to infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh just a short time ago, he said he'll be watching closely to find out more answers on that front, but that this is an important backstop. Take a listen.
This is basically standard process for a clinical trial. If someone gets sick for any reason whatsoever, vaccine or non-vaccine related, they're going to push pause and they're going to investigate to make sure that it truly isn't vaccine related. We'll hear more about what this is hopefully in the days to come, and we'll have a better understanding of whether or not it's related to the vaccine or not.
So we'll be watching for any updates, of course, Heather, but the message from specialists like Dr. Bogosh is the system is working by having this pause in place. So just keep tuned for whatever else might come out about that illness and whether it does link back to the vaccine.
Okay, that was the second video of the night on the COVID-19. Make sure you guys...
And the vaccine, yeah, but, you know.
Make sure you guys hit that like button.
Subscribe. You know, I'll be pointing. That what that means?
Yeah.
So yeah, Walt put me on the spot, y'all, while we wasn't recording, while y'all was watching the little video. He was like, "Are you gonna take the vaccine? What you gonna do?" I said no. I ain't taking it. But I got my reasons that are not. I'm not anti-vaccines.
Your reasons might be the same as mine.
Yeah, I'm not anti-vaccines.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that don't think your children need to be vaccinated for things that have obviously been eradicated because of vaccines.
You get Trent vaccinated?
He was vaccinated when he was a baby. I mean, for like the regular, the mumps and the
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
they have to take to go to school. Yeah. And it was stuff that's been in existence since I was a kid.
Right.
New vaccines in me. I don't like to be a guinea pig. Like I even said about early voting. Walt was like, "You going to early vote?" I was like, "Not to the first damn week is open. No.
Let me see how this shit
I'm
go
gonna see
first.
how things play out. The new phone come out. I don't want it that day.
Let me see a couple of online reviews and
happening.
Yeah, let me see what's going on with it.
Let me see how y'all's tore up first. Yeah. Then I'm gonna get the second round when they upgrade it a little bit.
So the COVID-19 vaccine is being worked on as we speak.
There are several people working on it at this time too.
Johnson & Johnson is the one we decided to focus on.
Correct. They're the major corporation that owns, they have a segment of their brand that is for vaccines. So if y'all want to use that, because I know some of y'all, Johnson & Johnson make baby powder. They don't need to be making vaccine. They have different areas of their business. Yeah. And one of them is a vaccine area. They make vaccines all the time.
Now, our question to you guys, and you can get in that comment section. You let us know what you think. Or you can email us at tsdc2020show@gmail.com.
I think it's show 2020.
Show 2020.
TSDC show 2020.
Oh, okay, my bad. Well, look in the description. It's in the description.
It'll be
there. You guys let us know. Are you gonna take the vaccine once it is ready, made available?
The shelves.
Yeah, to the public. Now I will say this, and anybody who served in the military with me know that I was notoriously known for bucking the system.
I used to like to ask questions too. What we taking? What's this for? Did we already took something for that?
Now at first, kills, I was the good soldier, and
I was never.
I just stood in line like everybody else, rolled my sleeves up, and got stuck. But then toward the end of my military career, I really started to question.
When you were older.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck am I taking this for? I stopped taking the flu shot, and I have my reason for stopping taking the flu shot every year. I had a close friend of mine, rest in peace, Jamal Holt, who passed away from the new version of and
every year's version.
I don't know if for sure.
Sometimes.
Well, it was the one you.
The mist. When it first
Which they were kind
of
skeptical about that shit anyway.
I don't like stuff in my nose, I'll be honest.
When he ended up passing away a couple of years, he got sick from that, and then his health just kept declining from it. And I think it was a couple more people who had some reactions to that particular strain of vaccine through the nose. And I'm gonna say this: if it is a thing, but they try to make it mandatory,
I don't think they will.
Can't do it
because they're gonna have a hard time. One, tracking it. Two, if you make something mandatory, there has to be a reason why I have to take it.
There has to be a fucking reason.
Like, am I going to not be able to go places, or is it just going to be mandatory? Like, what's going to happen? Because if you're like, well, you're supposed to take it, but I'm not getting stopped from doing nothing, I'm not going to go take it.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. But also, I will say they're working on, like I said, they're working on others. This isn't the first one to get stopped in the third round. It's not actually stopped like, oh no, it did something bad, we're not doing it. They're just retesting it, which does happen with all vaccines. They'll go through multiple rounds of testing.
Yeah, once they get through the human trial thing.
So if you're wanting to take it, don't feel like don't you be taking that.
Don't take that shit.
I just do your research, pay attention. I would not dare be one of these people for the trial. Would you? Would you do that? Let them test it? Now, you just said you weren't going to take it. Now you think about letting them test it on you. Now, y'all see what I deal with?
I had to think about it right quick. Like, how much they talking?
Not a lot. $2,000 ain't enough.
Yeah. And what's the real, like, am I going to die, or we talking about, my nuts going to be itching for like a week?
I mean, it's a clinical trial, so it could be both. You know how the prescription commercials go. Could cause ulcers, bleeding, stomach problems, and death.
They always say you bleeding, like, it could cause, bleeding. Like, why
everything gotta bleed?
Like, what the fuck is going on? What are y'all giving people?
And it always end with death.
Yeah, or death.
So,
shit.
I'ma just say, if that's the case with prescriptions that are on the market,
If you have these simple
I'm not doing no clinical trial because I know that list in with could cause death.
I ain't gonna lie to you, kids. I got so broke one time. I actually thought about that shit.
Doing a clinical trial?
I did, man.
No.
I was so broke one time, man. I was like, man, fuck it. What
Say
they doing?
but I
crap.
ain't gonna say it on air.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why I didn't do it. I think because I would have had to fly up to Michigan
And do it,
yeah.
Because now you causing me money to have to get in the trial.
Yeah. Well, I think they were gonna fly me up.
I was gonna say something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it on here, but I'm gonna say it to you later.
Say it.
I was gonna say you're a man. Why you don't just go to the sperm bank? That's money.
We ain't got no sperm right now, do we?
I mean, there's one. Go to Atlanta. That's
Look, I don't
closer
know.
than Michigan.
Look, believe it or not, I got like a mentality about
Don't
that.
tell me you're all like, I'm gonna have kids everywhere.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
want
know.
that. That's very important to me. I ain't gonna lie, kids. That's very important to me.
I don't care.
You know.
But honestly, with Ancestry.com, you can just get on there. They find you later. Hopefully, when they off child support. No, there was a story that happened.
Kid knocking at my door to my hey,
Dad.
Who your mama?
Funny story.
But yeah, the COVID-19 vaccine. What you think? About another year?
They have projected it as being, and I'm not even like I looked up some facts about it. They projected it to be middle of next year before one of these is good enough to go out to the general public, passing all the trial stages. Yeah. And that's just because as you go through trials, like you said, with this particular instance, somebody got sick. We don't know if it was the vaccine. They have to figure that out. So while they're figuring that out, it halts them doing another phase or doing anything new to the thing. And then even if she is sick and it's from the vaccine, all they're going to do is send it back to the chemistry lab and touch it up.
Here's the weird part though, Kels, because once something like what's going on with the COVID-19 that is apparently so deadly that they had to basically shut down
the world,
the fucking world. 9 times out of 10, when they introducing vaccines, motherfuckers be racing to be the first one.
Well, and that's
so
what I was going to say. There is a rat race happening for it. Okay. In America, there's 3 companies working on it. In China, there are a few companies working on it. Other big science, European countries and stuff that have good scientists and stuff are working. So there are a lot of people working on it. They're just having a hard time.
Yeah, nobody's came to the ultimate.
And honestly, I think that's why they're saying it's so deadly, because look how long it's taking.
That's what I'm saying, Kel.
So that's what's weird.
Kel, that's what was just like running through my head.
That's the weird part, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
How many motherfuckers done died?
Trying to figure this mess out.
Trying to figure this shit out.
And why come nobody's finished? Because like you said, the person who does it or the company that does it, there's going to be notoriety involved. And you get to be like, we won. So if nobody's we won and got done yet, that makes me concerned. Like maybe there's something extra with the virus that we don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're having the other things that they are still trying to come up with cures for that have taken a long time. Yeah. AIDS. Look at that. How long?
I don't think they have a.
They don't.
There's some shit they don't even have a
vaccine or cure or anything for.
Common cold. They've never been able to cure the common cold.
Well, that's because the strand changes every year.
So is that? I think I heard something a couple months ago.
Few weeks,
even with this COVID-19, did it mutate?
It mutates. And that's the thing about viruses. So viruses mutate. If this is a quickly mutating one, they may get close and then double back and the vaccine may not work. Now, the only other issue I do know too is they're saying they don't know the long-term effect of people who got COVID-19 and what it's doing to them after. So that's why we're still kind of locked up.
I mean, they don't know the long-term effects of fucking... They didn't know the long-term effects of Ritalin until our generation got grown.
That's a prescription drug. They want you to take that. They don't care. The long-term effects. See what I'm saying? You agreed to take Ritalin.
You know what's crazy though, Kels? As I was looking at the video, I always tend to look at the views and shit. So this dropped today, right? Mm-hmm. And usually something like this, because it is very important. It's very important information.
Well, and a lot of people are arguing about it every day.
But Pete, I'm thinking like it's gonna be like millions of views on this particular video about the vaccine. This important information. Yeah. Barely scratched 20,000. So my question,
I hope y'all read the news like I do. Right. Maybe that's why they just read the news.
Well, my question to you is, have people stopped giving a fuck about the virus and they're more focused on this this fucking sham show of a fucking
Honestly,
election.
when I'm on social media, I see the election and the coronavirus the most. So I don't think it's that they don't care. But I will say that it's been politicized. So people are kind of going, well, what does my candidate think versus what do scientists think? And honestly, scientists, y'all ain't gave us a lot of hope either, though, because y'all tell us one thing one day, then y'all tell us something else another day. And
yeah, because you're going to cancel the
I'm not
scientists?
canceling them.
Damn.
I'm just saying, can y'all hold up on the information till
Cold-blooded.
y'all know it's right?
Cold-blooded.
They releasing the information and then, oh, well, we were a little wrong.
Well, like you just said, it's politicized, and then you know these motherfuckers.
And they are being rushed to come to conclusions.
And they marketing also. If we, the more information that Johnson & Johnson puts out, and if let's say another company who's less known puts one out, who you think the people
are going to listen to?
Are going to fucking trust?
Well, and like I said, they're being pressured by the people and politicians to tell us, what is it doing to people? What is it happening? What is it? Is it airborne? Is it not? And they're having to come to these conclusions before they rightfully know. Because one time it wasn't airborne, then it was airborne, then it wasn't airborne. I'm like, okay. It's whatever.
It's all bullshit.
If it's gonna get you, it's gonna get you.
It's gonna get you.
It's like the boogeyman.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the boogeyman.
It's just like you walking, you know, that stray dog that's always in your neighborhood, and you know, just that one day you just a little bit too far away from your car.
I'm gonna bite
and
you.
You take it to like, damn, he might get me.
That's
today.
how I feel about COVID at this point. Like if you go to the grocery store with a mask on or a mask off, if you're supposed to get COVID today, you might get it. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what I find myself doing, Kels? And I wasn't doing this at first. Cause I shake motherfuckers' hand. My girl, she get on me all the time, be like, "You always shaking somebody's hand," and so I can't help it. But I do find myself, I keep that hand sanitizer.
Oh no!
I find myself doing that.
So we were out running errands yesterday, and literally every time we got back in the car, we like,
man, real talk. I've been doing that every time.
If nothing else, our hands are going to be clean.
Yeah, and then you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing that sort of lackadaisical behavior that was going on before this, where you know, for a brief period, people were actually covering their mouths when they cough and sneeze.
They just out here now.
They don't give a fuck. Again, I seen a little boy. I was eating in a restaurant, and this little boy, man, he sneezed 3 times. I swear, man.
You was looking like,
what? You dirty little critter.
You dirty.
Cover your fucking mouth, and your parents ain't got no sense
and
to tell you.
they ain't saying nothing.
They ain't saying shit.
I feel bad when I cough with the little mask on. I be like, oh no, y'all ain't got COVID. I ain't got COVID. It was a dust.
Cause I'm hoping they catch my fucking glare that I'm trying to like.
They don't know.
What is it? Psychically fucking talk to them.
Talking to them telepathically.
Cover that little boy fucking mouth.
I want my 6 feet. Can y'all go back to giving me 6 feet? The marks on the floor starting to kind of fade, and they not putting them down. And then a lady the other day, I'm checking out, and the lady was done ringing me up, but I was still getting my bags, and the other lady walked. She was like right here, and I looked. I was like, disrespect me.
Look, you'd have been well within your right to turn to her and push the shit out of her.
She was like, I mean, she didn't touch me, but
it was
I should have blew on her or something, but I had a mask on just to let her know how close she was. I should have like breathed. Yeah, I should have coughed. You're right. That would have got it. Because she was like in my, and I was like, so the 6 feet. Because I thought we was keeping the 6 feet after the COVID, y'all.
I thought so too.
Can we keep it? I want to keep it.
I know I do it.
I want to keep it.
I make sure I do it.
I stand away. I don't want to be up on you.
But like we said, make sure you got, if you are gonna take the vaccine or not, you know, and you feel comfortable enough, write it in the comments section. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cut them notifications on.
Cut on the notifications.
But write it in the comment section or email us at tsdcshow2020@gmail.com. It's in the description.
Are you gonna take it? Are you going to allow your children to take it? Like I said, I ain't taking nothing hot off the press.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
Let me see how many motherfuckers die.
Let it be a year old. So if it's gonna come out next year, then I ain't gonna take it to at least 2022. Like at least.
Damn.
I mean, I just need to see what it do to y'all.
Yeah.
No shade.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Kels. Well, let's get into this third and last video of the day.
Right.
It's always a heartbreaking situation when there's a child involved. You guys check this out.
Family of a toddler who died in a hot car Monday was the focus of prior abuse complaints. That's based on a report from Child Protective Services. 13 Action News reporter Jeremy Chen breaks down that report and spoke with a child advocate about tragic situations like this.
A report released by Child Protective Services showed that there were 5 times the agency were called over possible neglect and abuse of 1-year-old Sayah Deal. The child advocate I spoke with says it highlights the complexities in dealing with family support. Tonight, there could be more context to the life and death of 1-year-old Sayah Deal, discovered Monday in a hot car. Her father, 27-year-old Sydney Deal, arrested on charges of child abuse and neglect. He was the one who flagged officers down, but officers on scene felt he was more concerned about breaking the windows of his new car than his daughter inside. Tiffany Tyler Garner, the executive director of the Children's Advocacy Alliance, says this is a heartbreaking situation.
It highlights the importance and continuing need for prevention, intervention, and supportive services like the state's home visiting program.
In a report released from Child Protective Services, they were called 5 times over complaints of child neglect or abuse. All of them were found to be unsubstantiated.
I'm not surprised that there may have been a number of previous contacts, particularly if the goal of the system is to help families stay intact or to reunify where appropriate.
Deal's family rejects allegations Sydney was negligent in Sayah's death. Tyler Garner says the grief alone for Deal losing his daughter will be unfathomable and says he may face more obstacles.
Put that within a larger context of some of the societal narrative around fatherhood, particularly for his community, and the fact that in some respect, we can honor the fact that he had custody and was committed to raising his child. I'm sure just the juxtaposition of that thing adds another pressure.
We reached out to the Deal family as well as Sayah's mother. The Deal family declined to comment, and we did not hear back from Sayah's mother by deadline. Jeremy Chen, 13 Action News.
We are back, and once again,
unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I don't think I know the baby's name.
I almost called her Malaya.
That was the other girl.
Yeah, that was the other little
But
girl.
I don't think we know. And honestly, they usually don't release minors' names all the time. So maybe that's why.
Well, they did
for
the
respect
other day,
for the
so.
family or something.
Yeah.
Well, she was considered missing at first, so I know why her name didn't come out.
And we're referring to
another story that we did
Bass,
that was similar. Neglect? Similar?
Okay. That's why I wanted to get into it right away.
Is it negligence, y'all? Tell us.
Yes.
What do you
guys
think?
What do you guys think?
His mama said it wasn't.
You want to go first?
The boy mama.
You go first.
You go first.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what his mama said.
Mama is always going to be on her son's side. That much you can count on, especially in the black community. Mama got your back. You know, as they paint. Yeah, you know how they paint them. Of course, she don't like it. You know. Now, this is where I'm inclined to, because at first I was like, this piece of shit ass nigga. But then I was like, let me do some research. Let me look into this. And yeah, you know, before I, you know, we don't jump on what everybody else on.
I gotta see.
Yeah, I want to see for myself and see what's going on. So the car was on. Mm-hmm. The AC was running. Mm-hmm. And apparently he flagged the police down. Just to give you guys some more context to the story of Sydney Dean's daughter who passed away due to being in the car. So, what the fuck was this? So, the car was on, the AC was on.
Well, that's what they said, but then they said the keys was in the seat.
I'm confused. Yeah, because the mama. So, who is this saying is the mother?
I don't know. I think it was him that said the car was on, but there seems to be speculation on whether the car was on or off. Yeah. But I will say, so let's say the car was on.
The cop said the car was on.
So let's say the car was on. Does that make you feel better?
Well, the weather conditions for that day was like 90 degrees.
Ooh, so even with the air on, it could be hot in the car.
In Nevada, and I got
dry too.
I got experience with dry heat versus, like, we live in Georgia.
It's humid.
Yeah, 90 degrees.
A lot of people who come from dry places say this sucks. I didn't like dry. I don't know if you like it.
I'm going to tell you this. Georgia heat is 90 degrees can feel like 105.
Right.
It's
105 in Nevada doesn't always feel as hot.
It don't. And I've never been to Nevada or Vegas, but I have been to Fort Irwin, California, which is like a desert light, and
I lived in Arizona for a little while, and then I've been to Vegas multiple times. Yeah, with the military.
Oh yeah, you had to go out there and go to training. But
I lived there.
I've been in Iraq and Kuwait, which is the desert, and I've been in 115 degree weather.
And
no
you can
lie.
still be outside.
Long as you hydrate, you good to go.
But that's because, see, with the humidity, you sweat out your hydration. Yeah. But I will say, y'all, as a black girl, the dry.
It ain't good for the skin.
My curls was crispy, crunchy,
damn.
And my skin was bad.
Yeah.
It was just bad. I was dry. Right. It was like that SpongeBob episode where him and Patrick got put outside.
Oh yeah, and they looked like regular. Yeah, they was drawn up.
That was me.
Yeah. And you know what though? And we're not to your little children.
Correct. Where we can't regulate our body temperatures internally as well.
Mike can't handle that. And
you're right about that.
Now I will say something.
I didn't think about that, friend.
Yeah, little babies, they go through different things that we do.
And they don't. Yeah, kids don't regulate body temp like adults. Just like old people don't regulate their body temperature as well. So that's a good point. And I will say, being in a running car with the air on before, your car doesn't effectively cool as much when it's not moving. So if you start to sit for a long time in the car with your air on,
you're just idling.
It's not gonna be as cold.
Yeah, that's true. And even in my car, and
you have a newer car.
Yeah,
Me
I got
too.
a high-end car. Yeah. Until I move, that
don't get
that
cold.
air don't get cold
like I want it to.
Yeah, it might cool off if it's a hot day. You don't want to touch that leather right when it's been directly in that sun.
Like you can pre-crank it.
All right.
And we drove your car the other day and did the same thing. We crunk it up first before we got in it because it was black.
Yeah, and you want to.
And once we got in it still wasn't that cool. But then once we started moving,
that's when that air really started to circulate. And now,
so how long she sat could depend on if the car stayed cool.
That's what they keep asking too, because nobody's really giving an answer.
And honestly, the police arrived late.
Yeah.
They got there at the end, to my understanding. Like everything I've seen, the way the story was written and the way that the news has presented it, there were other people there way before the police who tried to help. And then the police kind of showed up at the end. And by the time they figured out what they wanted to do, she had died.
Yeah, she had passed.
And some people are faulting them. I don't fault the police in this instant. I know y'all won't like the police this year. I know, fuck the police. Hey, but I don't fault them because when you're arriving and you don't realize how long something's been going on, you think you have more time than you have. So this gentleman saying you can't bust my window, you're gonna entertain it a lot more than if you get there and they tell you the baby been in the car 5 hours already.
And that's why I want more detail. When the cops arrived, was the little girl up? Because the mother saying she was knocking on the window and she was up and
which
she was
is
alert.
Enough for me to bust the window.
But then they said when they finally did get it open, she had fell asleep.
And she was already in rigor mortis.
And she was already dead.
And to have a body in rigor mortis, it needs to be dead. It needs to be dead. You need to be dead for a few hours. Yes. Just FYI, if y'all don't know. You got to be dead for a few hours. If you only just recently died, your body will still be kind of limp. Yeah. You don't stiffen till you've been dead.
Yeah, rigor mortis is when the body's been dead. You're absolutely right, Kels.
Yeah, and then
the muscles are tense.
They tighten up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you're like frozen in that position. So for her to be in rigor mortis, maybe they thought she went to sleep though.
Maybe.
And they just were like, oh, she's asleep. We got time to get her out because she's not scared.
Yeah. So
I just, from a parent,
it's fucked up.
Yeah, from this a parent perspective, it's not good.
I don't want to call because at first, even we were like, this piece of shit.
I'm gonna call him negligent. I still am.
Yeah, negligent, absolutely.
I ain't gonna call him no piece of crap.
I don't want to call him a piece of shit. I want to say stupid. I want to call him stupid, because
I just don't know your thought process.
My baby in the car, I can replace this window. And
that was his story was the finances were not there to replace the window for anybody who listened, and the finances were not there to allow the locksmith to open it. Okay.
Oh.
So my issue with this: the brother tried to bust the window. They try to call the locksmith. You don't got money. They try to, tell you to bust the window. You don't have money. The police come and try to bust the window. You don't have money. So what point do you value money to? Because my kid could have just got locked in the car. Like, no lie, as a parent, if he looks scared, I don't even like my child to be in frightening situations that I can control.
Yeah.
If he's like, mommy, tapping on the window, I've even played with him before, like, get out the car and act like I'm gonna leave him in the car or whatever, and I'm like, bye, Trent, and walk off, and he'll be like, I don't want you to leave me, and I'm gonna go get him out. I'm not gonna make him sit there.
Wow.
And that may be a cruel joke. He's 5, he's not 2.
I understand what you're saying.
For perspective.
Now,
I don't want him to be terrified, you know?
I don't know if I liked, I don't know why they brought this up, but I did watch another where they brought up there were allegations of child abuse when she was 1. I'm gonna tell you why that
don't faze me.
It didn't even fucking matter because they said that the allegations were unfounded. They didn't find child abuse. I was like, what the fuck you tell me that for? Are you trying to make? I think they're trying to build it up. Yeah, you're trying to pin people against them. You know, that's where that fucking public opinion comes into play.
Well, and my thing, where the allegations coming from the child's mother, we haven't heard from her.
Yes, they did. Have we? I seen an interview with her.
Okay, so I was gonna say I haven't seen her talk.
And she full of.
But my problem, and I will say this, I know how some men have to deal with this with baby mothers. I will say, if there were allegations of child abuse on her part from him, why is your child in his possession?
Well, Kels, you know that boy got full custody.
So that's what I'm saying.
He got full custody. But she tried to say he didn't have full custody.
And see, that's what I'm saying. If there are allegations and the allegations held any weight, why did he have custody? Why did you allow your child to be in his presence? Why is he unsupervised with your child? So as far as his parenting prior to this event, I can't speak on it. Because other people are going to try to say he always was a bad parent.
Yeah.
And from looking on his social media, he actually has another kid too. So
yeah, because I heard his mother say children, like he takes care of his children.
Yeah, he has other kids.
Yeah, speaking
and
plural.
None of their moms, assuming they don't have the same mom, and I only assume that because I figure he would have had all the kids if he got, you know what I'm saying. But they haven't said anything. I don't want to speculate that he's just an overall bad parent or bad person. I do understand, thinking about money, but I just feel like in panic situations, that would be the last thing I would
I don't think this was malicious. I don't
think he was like, I'm gonna just leave it in the car. I
do not think this was malicious.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, and like I said, that's where.
But I don't.
That's where different people are going to react different types.
Because his response.
Yeah, I can honestly say, I'm gonna. Well, I got.
We have military training.
Plus, I got 2 keys. So
you're gonna immediately try to get.
I'm gonna call whoever got the other key. Hey, bring my other key. And
having
over here.
Military training, we're taught to kind of keep a cooler head in situations where other people might freak out and do crazy, frazzled things. So maybe he just was freaking out and didn't think clearly. I don't know. I
don't even know if they said that. I think for the most part, they were saying, you know what though? They didn't say.
They didn't.
So I'm gonna assume just. I gotta assume he maybe did panic. No, because if he panicked, he'd have broke the window out, Kev.
But people panic different. We talked about that with the murders and how they be like, well, they had no sympathy when they found out their wife died. Okay, well,
that's true.
What does shock do
you gonna react
in like scary situations do to you? I don't know why the first thing in a scary situation would be to think about your car, though. That's just.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So I have a hard time trying to wrap my head around where his head was. I would love for him to talk, but he's obviously not going to be able to.
And we can say we can go on and on and on about what he should have did and Right. His child is dead.
So he deserves sympathy in that case. Because I'm sure if he didn't feel bad the day it was happening, he thought she was okay. I guarantee he feels bad right now.
Here's where it gets a little tricky. Does he deserve life in prison?
So,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say there have been cases where people kill their kids and they get life. And then, right now with all this speculation about pedophilia and all that, and everybody saying pedophiles need to be put to life. Now, accidental death versus malicious should matter. And previous on, they're gonna always look at your previous rap sheet, how many other crimes you done committed. But I will say, a few years back in Atlanta, there was a guy, a white man, who left his baby in the car. He rode to work, and he claimed he had forgot to drop the baby off at daycare. And then I guess he got out of the car to go into the office to work and forgot that he had forgot to drop the baby off. So then when he came out for lunch, his kid was dead in the car.
Jesus.
Well, then they went back and found out that that wasn't actually the case, that he left the baby in the car on purpose and killed the baby. So, and then of course he gets life in prison.
Okay.
You should. But before they thought that he'd left the kid in the car on purpose, they were kind of like, he didn't really go to jail.
He got benefit of it. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm not making it a race thing. The guy was white, and I don't think that's just weird.
That's what I wanted to come out.
Would he have gotten life if the kid had actually been accidentally left? Probably not.
Because he got benefit of the doubt immediately.
Yeah, he didn't go to jail.
Immediately, the white guy got benefit. And like we said, we ain't trying to throw some race shit in here, but let's call a motherfucking spade a spade. Casey Anthony had the benefit of the doubt before it came out she killed.
Well, and even with that case that's on Netflix with Gabriel Hernandez, he was in his mom's custody after multiple reports of child abuse. She didn't even have custody of her other kids.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, should he necessarily have been immediately locked up and be calling for life in prison? No, because we don't have all the facts. I want to see how his attorney presents.
That's what I'm saying, Kels. Like
the argument, though. Because they are going to have a hard time with where was your mindset in as far as
a situation of stupidity. Abso-freaking-lutely. It was very stupid.
It was negligent.
How he handled it. It wasn't. How many of us have locked our keys in the car?
I ain't never locked my kid in the car, though.
I ain't never locked my kid in the car. But how many of us locked our keys in the car?
No lie, when I had my old new cars won't really let you. My car won't now. But my old car, bro, my husband had to hide a key under my license plate. I locked my key in the car so much.
I want you to think about this, though, because it is possible to close the door as you going around. The door locks and your child's in the car. So we none of us can say
that that's part could not have happened.
Right, because I don't care how attentive you are.
It happens.
That can happen.
Like I said, I used to lock my key in my car all the time.
So that's not the part.
And now I have a newer car. And the other day, I locked my car. I didn't lock the key in it, but I locked it not knowing I had locked it because it was in the garage. And I had to run back upstairs and look for the key.
Yeah.
And I could have just as easily had Trent in the car then. Now, granted, my keys wasn't in the car, so I couldn't have gotten to him, but I could have locked him in the car and had to go get my key from upstairs and come back down.
And see, that's the part, that's the human part where you kind of got to forgive
and that part I saw.
Yeah, you
they were like,
oh, well, that part.
How he even lock in there in the first place? It is very easy.
That's doable.
To untake your key out, and if you're on the phone especially, because we all got these little jokers in our hand all the time. And say you take the key out, you sit it on your seat, you're talking, get out, shut the door. Then you turn around, you like.
And see, that's when people say stuff like that, Kels, in my opinion,
they act like they're perfect.
That's motherfuckers acting like they just absent from any motherfucking mistakes, and that is not true. And like I said, that's not the part that you can even point a finger at him, because that shit
him
happens.
Locking the key in the car with the baby in the car can happen.
How he handled the situation
is the part that they're gonna have a trouble.
I can't ride with it because
they're gonna have trouble defending that.
Yeah, I'll say what I would have done. Like I said, got a second key, call somebody,
kick him out the window. Something.
Right, call somebody, open up the door. Newer cars. Ain't no getting in there with the hanger anyway.
No, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. They made the locks now.
I don't even know if you can do the balloon thing. Matter of fact, I want to know, because we're going to continue this thing and update you guys, just like we did with the Jonathan Price thing. Make sure you guys get in there, subscribe and like, cut them notifications on, baby.
Yeah.
Pop up and share too. Share this thing.
And I will. I'm like you. There's just so many other things I can think of. I've never cared that much about a car, honestly, y'all.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
Right. So it's, there's certain things we can say what we would have done. And then there's certain things we can't say what we would have done. I want to know next time we come back, hopefully they do have a timeline. How long this child was in the car?
How long was she in the car?
When
Because
the
at that point, maybe I'm thinking we can come to a solution soon, and that's why I wasn't rushing to bust the window. But once time goes on, I'm going to be...
Yeah, because if we talking about some hours here, then we talking about some negligence. We're absolutely talking about negligence. Yeah, we are.
Because if it was, maybe an hour, even 2, I could see you thinking is fine. After 2 hours, and
I don't think he left.
He never left the scene.
I kept hearing the news people say found on the scene. She wasn't found. She was sitting in that same spot.
He never left the scene either.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
So she could always see him.
Yeah, the negligent act
was the not allowing anybody to do anything to get in the car. Right. That's the act of negligence for me.
Yeah.
Like just not doing anything to help the situation. Yeah. That's where he neglected. And honestly, there have been times where parents have been in the news before, and I side with the parent because there's negligence that happens. And like you said, sometimes it just comes from being human. Remember the case with the Harambe, the gorilla, and the baby climbed in the gorilla pen? Yeah. Y'all, if y'all think that lady was wrong for that, y'all ain't never had no kids. I swear to God, they move so fast. What else could she have done? He was with her. Yeah. She look away, and now you're in the gorilla pen.
Yeah. And it happens
happens all the time to people. And people were trying to like persecute her. And I was like, you know what? That's not negligence. That's parenting.
Yeah.
Like that's going to happen. Children are going to get curious. They're going to walk off from you. If you're not immediately fixated on them, which most of us are doing multiple things all the time because that's America now.
Yeah.
That happens. So like with him dropping the keys, I think that was like a Harambe situation. Yeah. That was a negligence, but it was not negligence on purpose. It was negligence probably because he was just in motion doing multiple things. The not busting the window.
Yeah. Well, we're going to give you guys an update on the next show.
Right.
And come right back to it and give you guys some more details into this story. Right now, we're going to get into Kelsey's Corner with some black facts.
Got some black facts, y'all. So... today I'm gonna switch up my black facts, I think, too. So this will be the last day I do like black facts on the day today. After this, I'm gonna just do cool things in Black history no matter when they happen, just because now we're recording our show. But this is October 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So today in history, 1962, Jerry Rice was born. I'm not a football fan, but he was a football player. I can't tell you what position. I can't tell you what team. I know his name, so that must mean he's pretty famous. Yeah. Like, I've heard of him before. Mm-hmm. Also today, birthday, 1924, Nipsey Russell was born. Not Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Russell with an R.
Who played...
He's a comedian and actor.
Well, he played the Tin Man in The Wiz.
Mm-hmm. Look at you on your black facts and stuff. Because I saw his name. I said, they're going to think I said Nipsey Hussle. No, this is in 1924, Nipsey Russell.
Right.
And then today, this is a good one. 1914, the gas mask was patented as a smoke hood by Garrett T. Morgan. And it has gone on to be what we know as the gas mask of today. Huge importance. It came in handy in 1916. Right. There was a tunnel under construction that collapsed, and the smoke hood was able to be used to go in and rescue some of the people that had been in the collapsed tunnel. So that was a black man. If you have worn a gas mask.
And went on to provide breathing apparatus for military personnel.
Correct. Yeah. So everybody who's been in the military should shout out for this, because them things are amazing. Remember, you wear them and you walk all through that room, then you take it off and you be snotting and crying.
Oh, man. The gas chamber. I hate it.
But that was a black guy, Garrett T. Morgan, and he patented that today. He went on to have other inventions as well. This was one of his more famous inventions. He had 2 others. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. But that one was majorly important in 1916 and still important today.
Yeah. Awesome. Is that you?
That's all I got.
Well, you guys have been wonderful. Again, we love you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hit that like button.
Get the notifications
on. In the description, you have our email, our Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. To go back and watch more of the shows that we have from Talking Shit and Drinking Coffee from the beginning days.
Past shows, and we'll even have some newer shows on there from time to time. They just may not be this structured.
Right. Well, You guys, we're gonna let you go.
I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go.
I'm hungry too.
See?
Eat some chicken.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.